All righty, let's head right out to the Bud Light guest line. All guests appear on the Bud Light guest line. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Lo Neal.
Lo.
Hey, Lo, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, what's up, my guys? How we doing?
Well, what'd you think of the Niners game?
Talk to us.
Yeah, you know what? I just thought that you had a team that was doomed from kickoff pretty much. You saw the Niners played their ass off, guys, but let's face it, when you don't have a quarterback, a serviceable quarterback, you don't have a chance. So you didn't get to see a true indication of what that game could have been. Do I think the game would have been a lot different? No question. When you can't run the ball and you have not a guy to throw the ball to the weapons that the Niners have on the outside of you, Debo, Kittle, McCaffrey, the list goes on. When you don't have someone to be able to facilitate that, let's face it, you don't have a chance. There's not maybe two or three teams the Niners could have beat in the whole NFL. As good as the Niners are, there might have been yesterday, there was maybe one or two teams that the Niners could have beat. All 32 teams, the Niners are good enough that maybe at the max, maybe a handful, 5, and that's being generous. If you cannot throw the ball, I don't think that they would have beat maybe 2 or 3, 5 at the max yesterday without having a quarterback.
Lo, let me ask you this, because the people don't know. We text back and forth, and I feel like we got our signals crossed because every week we have you on, I've been telling people I don't know what Brock Purdy is going to be, but I know right now he looks better than what Trey Lance was doing when he in his couple of games, and he's the best option they have. But you texted me the other day, and I felt like you were saying that I was all in on Purdy, and I'm not. So
okay.
Because yesterday was case in point. When he went out the game and Josh wasn't ready, it was a wrap.
It was a wrap. I'm glad that because I just hear a lot of jaws and a lot of talking heads go out there and look, and I could be wrong, but I can tell you right now, and Steiny, you know this, you've been on the show with me. I said that Joe Burrows, when he came out, and you could ask Joe for all the people, I said Joe Burrows will be the best of that class. I looked at Joe Burrows and the way that he played in the national championship. Go watch. I said, this guy has it. I've been on Joe Burrows from day one. Before he came into the league, I said, this guy is the guy. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I do believe that Purdy had did a hell of a job. But you know how, Steiny, is it easier to teach a 4 or 5-year-old how to go, to teach a kid what to do? But you get someone older that's already set in their ways, it's harder for them to change. It's harder for what they do. They usually revert back to old habits. I think you have a situation in Purdy that you had Shanahan in the earpiece that was talking to him, and I said he's capable, comparable, and all those things that Shanahan said, this is where the ball should go. And Purdy, because of he's young and indecisive, he said, look, Shanahan said this is where the ball goes. He's in his ear. He's got 15 seconds. You get in cover 3. He can talk to him for 10 seconds so it's getting ready to go, and then they turn the mic off. This is what you're getting. This is where the ball should go. And I think because he's young and understands, hey, look, it's not about me. All I have to do is follow instructions. I think that's why you saw him have I think he was going to have success. And then he improvised when he got in trouble. He was able to improvise, and his athletic ability was able to take place. So I do believe he functioned at a high level, but I'm not going to be one of those guys, and I'm glad Guru just said that I'm saying I'm not all in on Purdy. Because if you go and say, okay, even if Purdy's okay, to go out and say, I'm going to make this guy my starting quarterback and go ahead and just say, I'm going with him and I'm going to redo his deal after 1 year and now he's a second-year player and just say, I'm going to give him a boatload of money because I'm going to bet on this guy as the future. I think that's foolish of Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. And I know everyone's saying, oh, trade this guy and do this. I understand Jimmy's out the door. I get that. I'd keep these two quarterbacks. I'd bring in a veteran guy that I know that's a good veteran guy that could help teach these two young guys. But it's no way am I letting these two guys get out of the door when I still got 2 to 3 years left with two quarterbacks that I'm trying to see where my team is going.
Lorenzo Neal joining us on the Bud Light guest line. Yeah, I mean, the way I look at Purdy, Lowe, is he'll probably be the number one quarterback at the start of camp for the 49ers, and he'll probably earn the job in week 1. But then he's got, then he's got to be as good or better than this past year. And he might be. But he might not be. He might not be either. So I'm kind of with you there on Purdy. I think he's going to be the starter next year. But it's like a stock. I don't think past success guarantees future results.
Yeah, I'm with you, Steiny. And here's what people have to take in consideration. Just like you said, I don't know if he's my starting next year. And I know everyone's like, oh, well, what did you see out of trade? I've seen a guy in trade that's still raw. I see a guy in trade that you say potential, he still has potential. You look at Brock Purdy and say, who has more potential? Who has more upside? Who has more athletic ability? Who can scramble? Who's faster? Who all have all the potential? When you just talk about just potential, who can throw the ball farther? Who has just the most athletic ability and potential? And when I look at it like that, to me, it's Trey, and that's my opinion. I could be wrong. So I'm talking about from an athletic ability and ability to do those things, I give Trey advantage. For Brock, I give him the advantage that Brock knows where to go with the ball. Brock has his football IQ right now is higher. But when you look at his ceiling, a guy that's less than 6'1", you're going to tell him that he's going to stay in the pocket, and now you're going to have to make sure that you can still protect. If he can't see over the pocket and see over the lineman, he's going to have to move the pocket. He's going to have to do other things. Is he going to be able to be that guy in the league when the guys are bigger, faster, and they can bat down passes? Is he going to be a pocket guy that you can depend on for the next 10 to 12 years? And that's where, guys, I'm not on that Brock Purdy train. I think he's good. I think he showed that he can be. But right now, if you said, I'm going to trade for Brock Purdy, if you're the Baltimore Ravens, if you're not going to keep Lamar Jackson, are you trading? Or are you going to go to the San Francisco 49ers? I'm going to give up a first pick or a second round pick for Brock Purdy. Are you going to do that, Steiny?
Nope.
I think you know what, Steiny, you're real.
No.
You're real. And you're absolutely, and that's what people. I don't understand. I'm like, I'm trying, and I could be wrong, guys.
People want a quarterback, they want to believe in something.
I know, good, but I know, and I want to believe in something. And I'm just saying, I just say, give me the potential that I haven't seen enough. My eyes have not seen enough.
I get that.
When Trey threw that bomb in preseason, and everyone talking about, oh my God, look how good the long ball.
I was one of them. Yeah.
they loved him, and all of a sudden, oh, well, I don't know anymore. It's like, I just want to trust the process, and I think Shanahan is going to trust in John Lynch's process, and I'd be willing to bet right now, guys, that he's not trading Trey like everyone is saying out there in the media.
Whoa.
I don't think that's happening.
I mean, depending on your perspective, and I can see it from both sides. I really can. You can look at the 49ers quarterback situation and say, I don't know.
Yeah.
But you can also look at it and say, wait a minute, we got two guys on low. One guy's on his rookie deal. One guy's got a ridiculously low contract. The guy with the ridiculously low contract showed us he ain't bad. And we still now have an ace up the sleeve with Trey Lance. What if Trey Lance is good? So I could see how I think you're exactly right. I'm bringing a veteran in here. And those are the three guys I'm probably going to roll with.
Absolutely. That's where I'm at. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I think that there's only one guy you can bring in here, and both quarterbacks will understand and still say, after that 1 year, we're going to be fighting for that job because you still got them both for the low, and they still have first deal. And you guys know where I'm going, Mr. Tommy Brady.
Sarah High School.
You can bring Tom Brady in here, and guess what? Both these quarterbacks will fall in line. They know what and then guess what though? They're going to be sitting behind the GOAT for 1 year, and because Tom's done after this 1 year, without a doubt, 1,000%. I would bet my life savings guru that after this 1 year, if he plays another year, he's done. So why not say bring in the GOAT? Do you know the kind of teaching these guys would get? Both of these guys. For their future, and both of them would be like kids in the candy store. And they will understand who's teaching them. Do you think that now, once he's done, the competition of those two quarterbacks, what the level of IQ, what they're going to be learning from Tom Brady? If I'm the Niners, I look at all my options. But one thing I'm doing, if I am bringing in Tom Brady, if McGlinchey's out the door, I'm going out and I'm spending some money on a right tackle.
I'll say this to that, Lo. I'm not saying you're wrong. I even tweeted that scenario. But if it did, Kyle seems like a control freak. And if they didn't go after Brady and get it done 3 years ago before Brady's Super Bowl with Tampa Bay, what the hell? And I'm just saying, what the hell has changed to where now he's 3 years older and they sign off on it. But I got to ask you this because you played the game about Bosa. Listen, I'm not saying he played bad. I get excited. I own it. I've said he reminds me of Strahan, Reggie White, D. Ware. But, Lo, we just watched 3 playoff games, and 97 did not record a sack. And I'm asking you, I want somebody just to go to a chalkboard and explain to me, did he play well and not put up numbers? Or am I off basis by saying, hey, 97, you're that dude. Where were you?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's a fair question. And I went in the locker room after the game and they won against the Cowboys. And to be honest, like I told you, Guru, and like we talked about last, if the Cowboys running back doesn't get hurt, Dak and the kickers, and just take even the mistakes that Dak made, you take that interception away because now they're confident in a field goal. They go in the locker room winning ahead, and now you let the 6-point game change. So I think they dodged the bullet. When you look at what the running back, when he broke his ankle, whatever happened to him, and then, you didn't have a kicker, I think the Cowboys played well enough in spite of to win that game. So that was anybody's game. And I looked in, went in the locker room, just kind of seeing Nicky Bosa and just, sitting around and looking at it. I think he understands that. I think Nick Bosa puts a lot of pressure on himself because he's one of the best pass rushers in the league, bar none, and one of the greatest players in the league right now, top 5 or 10 defensive players in the league, hands down. But where was he at in the playoffs? Now, he made plays. He got doubled. He still made plays. He still almost had a safety yesterday. If you watch some of the things that he does, he forces the guy to step up. He makes the quarterback step up in the pocket. How many times you've seen him push in the pocket? Now, if someone was in the middle, you get more middle push. I think that Bosa has more impact on the game. So I do believe what you're saying, Guru, and it's justified. But I would love to show you what he did do and show you where other guys need to step up because what he did. But I do believe, Guru, that he pressed. I do believe that he was trying hard and he instead of just relaxing and saying, I'm just going to cut it loose. I think that he put pressure on himself. I need to be getting sacked. And it started, Guru, in my opinion, the Raider game. The Raider game, he was so close to making history. He put that burden on his back, and I think he played tight and intense.
Lo Neal joining us on 95.7 The Game. Lo, let me ask you this, because 3 or 4 weeks ago we were talking about the Niners, and you actually brought it up, and you said, guys, I'm telling you right now, if the 49ers don't get it done, people are going to look at their schedule and say they didn't have the toughest competition. Well, of course, everybody takes that to, you're saying they didn't play anybody, and what does that really mean? And that's it. But their last 2 games, and maybe this is the way it goes, were the 2 best teams they played against, or at least Brock Purdy played against. And I know you expect that in the postseason, but wouldn't it have helped if he did have one game during his run where, I don't know, maybe everything didn't fall into place?
Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying, Steiny, and I think that's the unknown, and that's why it's like, what comes first, the chicken or egg? And everyone talks about, hey, they went on a great run, yes, but that's what I've been telling everyone. You had a great team. What Brock did is that I'm not going to turn over the ball. Let's face it, the freaking Dallas Cowboys had an opportunity to have 3 interceptions. You look at Seattle. Seattle dropped a bunch of interceptions. Brock Purdy had a lot of so other teams had a lot of opportunities to capitalize on Brock Purdy's mistakes, and just unfortunately they dropped interceptions. Dallas, you saw it. They dropped them. Seattle dropped them. So when you look at this team and you talk about what they did, I think yesterday, guys, even if Brock Purdy's healthy, I think that Philadelphia was a better team. I think that if you watch the game and go watch 99, help me out here, guys. His knee was hurt, but
Kinlaw
99. Yeah, Kinlaw. Guys, Kinlaw got pushed around, and I like these guys. I love you guys, and the Niners know as players, I love the players, and you guys know that I'm great friends with Juszczyk. I wanted them to win a Super Bowl. I wanted them in Super Bowl. But I'm going to tell you right now, even if they have Purdy, I don't think that they beat Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia was more physical. Now, I know the defense took a lot of chances because they know that they needed to get turnovers in order to be in that game because they knew offensively it wasn't going to happen, so they needed to have big-time plays to help their offense. But I'm telling you right now, guys, Kinlaw got thrown around like a rag doll. He got knocked out of 3 holes over. I seen him get knocked over from the B gap guys all the way out to the wide 9. From the 3, I'm talking about moved over from the guard to the tackle, outside the tight end on that gaping touchdown. Go back and watch it. I'm just telling you, I saw him trying to hold a point, and I saw guys driving 5 yards down the field. I'm telling you guys right now, Philadelphia wore them out. Philadelphia beat them up front, guys, in the trenches. Games are won and lost in the trenches, and guys on the Niners, if you're listening, you guys had a hell of a year, but I'm just telling you, Philadelphia was a more physical team, and they pushed them around yesterday. And I don't know what game you guys were watching, but if you watched the offensive line in particular, they got to them, guys.
Yeah, no, hey, I told Steiny I've never seen Trent Williams, get pushed around, and that's why he did what he did when it was over. He went straight barroom brawl low. But I got to bring this up because I have no problems with Kyle except early. And I believe this set the tone for the game with the non-challenge. And I hate that the electronics, you got to know when to do it. They should do it. But, Lo, I know it was early, but it was going to be a turnover. Had you just thrown the challenge flag, you being a former player, did that set the tone for Sunday? Or was that just one of many plays that, hey, he didn't throw it, we move on?
No, Guru, don't think that whole game. Don't think that Kyle Shanahan last night on that plane home, and I think like you said, he's a great coach. And yes, it's easy to second guess a lot of things. Don't think without a doubt that he's upset with he's disappointed in his coaches.
Oh,
he's
man.
disappointed he's disappointed with the people that says, hey, you should challenge that. Because let me tell you something. You should have just challenged it because the way the guy got up, and you could see the way that he was patting his hands, like, let's go. And you saw how quick Philadelphia, why do you think Philadelphia was trying to get him? So to me, that was and Cal, to me, is a great coach. That was a no-brainer, Guru. And here's the deal. The reason why I think that play even hunts him even more, because now it's 4th down. You get the ball on their 40, and now guess what? Your mentality is different. You don't even know if it gets Purdy hurt, because now you're not trying to necessarily play from behind to say we got to get right back in this game, quiet the crowd. But now you just had a turnover on downs. You could run the ball. You're only 20 yards away from being in field goal range. Without a doubt, Guru, that changed the complexity of the game 1,000%. 1,000%.
Neal joining us on 95.7 The Game. Let me ask you this, Lo, because some people have texted into the Xfinity mobile text line, and they're talking about a 49ers defense that was demoralized because of the offense. Let me ask you this. You played offense. I'm sure there were times where you guys had a juggernaut offensively, but the defense couldn't stop anybody. Like, does the other side of the ball impact your psyche or maybe, your emotion level, or no, because we just have a job to do and we can't worry about the things we can't control?
No, I agree with the text line, saying they were demoralized, but the psychological, without a doubt, it hurt the defense. Let's be, because you had to take more risks, you had to gamble more. I thought there were some bad calls. I thought when you had AJ Brown get called, Ward get called for holding, that was within 5 yards. I thought that was a horrible call. You had three plays that cost 7 points. It changed the complexity of the game. They just knew they couldn't win. Absolutely, they were demoralized, but they knew that they had to risk and take gambles, because let me tell you something. When Purdy got hurt, guys, let me tell you right now, now they're going to say the right thing, like, hey, we believe next man up, let's go. Hey, you know what? We're going to try to come up and win. Yeah, they thought that, but they believed it. But then after 1 and 2 series, defense held up 3 series, 4 series, and you saw that there's still the inability to do anything on offense. Let me tell you guys, without a doubt, 1,000%, they knew that it was over, and they knew that they had to be desperate because offense was absolutely stiff. But when you're playing putting 9, 10 guys in the box, Philadelphia went with 4 and 5 down linemen and brought the safety down. They were daring them to throw the ball. They had no chance. So, yes, it messed with the psyche. But I'm going to tell you right now, when I was watching some of those defensive linemen up front, It had nothing to do with psyche. It had everything to do with you just getting your ass whipped, because it started early in the game where they were creating a new line of scrimmage, driving the defensive line, not all of them, but I'm talking about driving defensive linemen 5 yards down the field and knocking them 5 yards sideways, left and right. I'm telling you guys, that had nothing to do with the offense. That had everything to do with you just getting your butt kicked.
Low Neal.
Wow. So the better team won, Steiny. It sounds like it's Low.
Yeah. Question.
Yeah. Thanks,
Damn.
Low. We'll talk to you
Cheers, guys.
soon. Think you
Cheers.
did.
Man.
I agree with him.